All right, guys, it's Kevin Stewart. I'm coming back with you for another one for my feedback from Module 6, searching and researching blog posts. So, as for beginners, it said we're going to do the first outline, answer the first question. What is the most useful thing I learned in this module? One of probably the most useful thing I learned in this module is the bevy of resources that you can use in order to basically do to filter out .com things. When you it's interesting to take note that you need to basically be able to seek out reliable, quality, utility. And what I mean by that, reliable, hey, is the source credible? Is it written by an organization, a professor, a research institute? That's reliability. Is it quality? Is it up to date? Has it been peer reviewed? Does it basically is it organized? Does it what type of claims it's making? And then you have the utility as to what is it? Does it relate to your topic, and does it stay consistent to what is going on? So that's one of the things I found most useful in this module is when you're especially looking for research, when you're doing some research, you need to be mindful. Just be mindful of those three concepts, especially when you're citing sources. So stay away from .com. Try to use websites that are peer reviewed. So which kind of feeds into the second question. What is a specific example, something from this model I had already put into place, and how did it work? So I looked into aviation engineering earlier today on Google Scholarly, and I had thought to myself something like, hey, let me find out how they're basically building how they're building planes and stuff. So in one of our slides, they said use Google Scholarly. I had typed in aviation engineering, found out that that there are so many slides going back to the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they were all peer reviewed. A lot of data. It's a lot of data to grasp, but nevertheless, you found out that there was a lot of research on how you had things from the Wright brothers, from the Wright brothers to all your to your Boeings, to different types of aerospace companies and aviation makers that do the job on a day-to-day basis. So it worked out pretty well. I kind of got out all the junk, the elementary junk, a little bit more. It was more complex, but nevertheless, if in the future, if I need to cite sources about data metrics of how to build a plane, of how the history came about, of the different types of experiments that were done, Google Scholarly is a great source. Third question: what ideas from this module could I put into practice in the future, and how? I would say I'm definitely gonna basically. I understood the difference between researching and searching, and what I mean by that is what ideas from the module could I put into practice in the future. I'm gonna basically do a lot more in-depth studies and take things from my university, such as my university libraries and public libraries, pull books from the public library, either from a college library, from Google Scholarly, or anything that has to relate from a .com or a .net. So that's something that I'm gonna do in the future. Take a look at the authors and do things of that nature. One key thing to note. One of the slides also talked about if you have trouble with citations, there's a website called easybib.com that has MLA format, APA format, etc. So if you have hard times doing that, that's something I plan on taking into the future, so that I can utilize my technology in order to help me more better if I'm struggling with just basically getting citations done for papers. Fourth question, last question: what advice would I give the student for working professional based on what I've read? I would tell all the working professionals that this is something that this is kind of this is a very key that this is a very key skill that we have to learn in our lives. That there's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo out there that's garbage that people just put out there. So what I mean by that, there's primary sources, secondary sources, and there's opinions. It's best to go to the professionals, and it's best to what you call try to stay away from stuff that are opinionated. And what I mean by that, as I said earlier, reliable, quality, utility. So when you're looking at online, you need to basically be searching for a reliable. Hey, is a reliable source credited by a good author? An author does it have great quality? Does it have great quality? Is it up to date? Does it have data metrics, especially for like aviation engineering? Is it organized? And utility? Does it what you call is it consistent? Does it talk about your topic? And I would tell students, hey, if you identify those three key metrics, you should be good. You should basically be good when you're finding your sources. So that's my wrap up for Module 6. I hope if you have any feedback, please respond to me, and I hope to get back to you soon. Next one on Module 7.